Shalom, welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabadis of Delmar, and together with my co-host Mark Ronich, Statewide News Service, and jbiztechvalley.com. We have a very, very special guest with us, Mrs. Christine Benedict. She's the Republican leader of the Albany County Legislature. Can I call you Christine?
You can.
First, Christine, welcome to the Jewish View.
Thank you.
Can I call you Chris?
You can.
Okay. No,
I've been called worse. Yeah.
I need to tell the audience that I've known Chris for a very long time. We go back, our friendship is like 20 plus years. So.
Really? That long?
Yeah, it's getting there, yeah. So
yeah.
I just...
How long you were in the legislature for?
I went in 1993.
Yeah.
Really? That long? 20 years?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And prior to that, I was on the town board in the town of Colonie.
Oh,
So, yeah.
excellent.
And you've had a very full life. Tell us, about your life. Tell the audience about, how you got here, if you grew up here, what your background is.
I did. I grew up in the town of Colonie. Went to school in the city of Albany. I went to Vincentian High School, College of St. Rose, and then I did my master's at Marist in Poughkeepsie.
And what did you master in?
Public administration.
Of course.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And what did you do when you got out of college?
Well, I have a real diverse background. I have some years that I was with Military and Naval Affairs. In fact, I headed up their...
Public relations?
No, I was the Director of Government Affairs.
Oh, Government Affairs. That's
under Governor Pataki.
Here in Albany?
Here in
Yeah.
Albany and Latham. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they had an office.
So, yeah, it's the New York National Guard. And I was Director of Government Affairs out there. It was a great place to be. Of course, my heart is really with the veterans. I was at an event earlier today for the veterans. So there's a special place in my heart for all of them. And it was a great position. I did a lot of work in Washington at that time. And then I went from Military and Naval Affairs to the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority. Of course, the political positions that we hold are part-time. I mean, you couldn't live off of
right.
the compensation that one gets. But so everyone does have a full-time job. I am retired now from NYSERDA. I was Director of Government Affairs there, and which a lot of my work was down here in the state capitol. So I have a real diverse background. And in between, I owned my own business out on Route 9.
Which was?
It was called Clearly Yours.
Right.
It's still there in the Newton Plaza.
Which is now Jewish-owned and operated.
Yes. And
it's on my list.
yeah, it's a great place. I had it for 10 years,
Oh,
and
I
I
love
sold
Clearly
it.
Yours. I
Yeah.
would go there all the time for gifts and
Yeah,
little
it was,
tchotchkes that I couldn't get anywhere else.
A great
That was
place.
great.
Someone said, well, you created your own monster. It was really, it grew and grew and grew, and started as a little small business, and I branched off into state contract work and other things. And at the same time, I was on the town board, which was very convenient because it was only a quarter of a mile away. Yeah. So it was great.
And personal life? You married, not married, kids,
No,
no kids?
I am not married. I do have a significant other, Larry Felix, who also is Jewish, from Long Island.
Oh,
yes,
there you go.
yes. His family still resides in Long Island, and we're there quite often. So for every bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah, and yes.
You know that. I think the Vice President Biden once said, he says, because he's not Jewish, of course, but he says, I've been at more bar mitzvahs than most Jewish people have over here.
And when I worked for the Albany County Republican Committee, I used to give Fred Field, who was the county chairman, the list of days I needed off, and he would say, gee, Mark, if I knew that there were these many holidays, I would have become Jewish a long time ago.
Yes, that's right. I can see Fred doing that, yeah.
Actually, just go back to your original, I don't know how you keep up with the veterans, but my son is married, his father-in-law, which in Jewish, I don't know how you say it even, it's my son's father-in-law. He's actually number 2 in the VA, he's a doctor. But I've talked to many, veterans in my time, and really, it just, maybe it's not your issue, but you've been so many years ago, but I don't think the United States and America treats their veterans, with the respect that they deserve. I've seen that, and a lot of people even complain to me, that they, they're doctors at the VA. I know a few doctors there, and, they're just you come and no one cares. Where, now I know, of course, many Israelis who come to our services, and like they're held. If you have an army service, you're held in a high regard. Here, it's like, all right, you did a job. Well, you put your life on the line. I mean, you deserve a little bit more respect than I think any other person, really. Who puts their life on? I don't care what you do. You volunteer, but you don't put your life on the line.
Do you feel the veterans are getting enough respect? I mean,
I have to agree with the rabbi. And
after
I
Vietnam,
have
we
very
didn't get-
strong feelings about, of course, we lived the Vietnam era, and now, of course, it was Desert Storm, and then it was, and I worked with so many of them and so closely to them. And there were administrations and in the National Guard who they had a huge presence down in the state capitol. So we were always, I'm not going to say lobbying, but educating advocating for the veterans and tuition assistance and anything else that we could do. But back to the veterans, and I feel very strongly about this. People who hold office, especially the President of the United States, when I know that they have a military background, I really do think that is critical. But that is my own personal feeling, because you really need to have lived it, or you need to. It really connects you with the veterans, but that's my own personal feeling on that.
So tell us your role at the county legislature and your role as the Republican leader, and how you keep the coalition together of Republicans.
It's not difficult keeping the coalition together because there are only 10 of us out of 39. So when I first went into the legislature, there were 17 of us. And we were under the leadership at that time. The minority leader was Peter Crummey, Judge Crummey from Colonie. Right. Great guy. I learned a lot from him, as I said, from Fred Field as well. And so they were my two role models in the political arena, and two that I'm proud to say that right. I learned a lot from them. So when I went in, there were 17 of us, and Michael Hoblock was our county executive at that time. It was good times.
Yes.
It was very good times. And of course, as years go on, things change. Redistricting, we lost some seats. And then through two redistrictings, we began to lose more and more seats. And then I became leader, and we started picking up more seats again. There was always, prior to me being in a leadership role, there was always a gentleman's agreement that in the legislature that the city legislators stayed in the city, the town of Colonie legislators stayed in the town of Colonie, the Guilderland stayed in Guilderland, the Delmar stayed in Delmar. Well, through the years, through redistricting, they began to encroach. And
blend
soon it was not just, we had representatives from Arbor Hill that went into Loudonville. And of course that was brought to court and they eventually changed it. But now we have such split districts that people who have a good portion of the city also have a good portion of the suburbs. Right, so it's
who redistricts it? Who's in charge of that?
What a loaded question that. Well, I got it.
I just don't know. I'm not leading you on.
Full disclosure: in 2000, or after the 2000 census, the Albany County Legislature contracted out and took bids on on private companies to offer their services to do the redistricting. And a company that I was associated with my partner Phil Chonigman in Geopolitical Strategies, we won the contract.
Really?
So we did the redistricting in 2002.
You're the one to blame?
I'm the one to blame for that, and along with Phil. And he was the Democrat, I was the Republican, so it seemed like it was bipartisan. And then this past year, it was done by a panel of volunteers, and it wasn't, it went, I don't know, as smoothly, less smoothly, I don't know, but it was still...
It's supposed to be a bipartisan committee that's put together.
So that's why they felt with this company, with Phil being from downstate as a Democrat and I was a Republican from locally, that would be a bipartisan fit. But again, the county attorney or the county, the council and the legal team in the county, for the county executive and the county legislature, the majority of the county legislature, they really have the control and they have the say. And you could put the most fair lines together, and someone in the majority of the county legislature in the council's office is going to say, no, we can't do that. We have to do it this way, this way, this way. And you can meet with as many of the legislators individually as you want, but again, the majority of the county legislature, they're going to protect their own. And that really was the experience I learned from 2002 or 3 or whatever it was that we did this. And look, we warned them. We said, no, don't do this. It's going to go to court. They said, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. And, it just
And that was the year that the Arbor Hill and the Loudonville ended up together, and that they did.
And we told them not to do it that way, and it went to court. Aaron Mayer took the lines to court, and then all of a sudden, the Republican of the county legislature said that my company should be paying for the legal bills that the county's paying for. And it was written in the contract specifically that we wouldn't have to do that, that the county would pick up the cost of it. And we were just getting paid hourly, our hourly rate, so we were getting paid more because of the court case. So all of a sudden that court case evaporated and things got settled amicably. So,
Right, well, that's a good review of what I didn't know
that was
all
my
this
personal
about you.
experience, and I'll write about it in my book called Deception when I put it out. So because people
I
think
live
that
in Delmar, but a lot of people, of course, I know everybody, and I talk to everybody. I try to be nonpartisan, and it's just like they just think, the Albanians, that people come from a better area, and they say, well, they're going to Delmar. Was you always so Republican, and now it's really totally
Democrat.
Totally
The
Democrat.
town board has one Independence Party person, and then the rest are all Democrats.
In Delmar,
In
yeah.
Bethlehem.
Yeah.
And then Colonie is all Democrat, right?
Well, we just
Oh,
picked
well,
up a
that's right.
seat.
You picked up a Republican.
We did.
Oh, Colonie's coming back.
But, realistically, we won 6 out of the 8 seats. We won, we won all but 3 seats this time around. So we won like 8 seats, and they had, so we maintained, we have 2 Republican judges. We have a
Right.
Republican town clerk.
Right.
We have a Republican receiver of taxes. Now we have 1 Republican town board member.
And what's the county, in the town of Colonie, the county legislature, how many members are there from the town of Colonie, even if it blends?
5.
There are 5 from
When
Colonie.
I went in, there were 10, and now there's 5.
Now, the city of Albany has the same population as the town of Colonie, give or take a few thousand, 95,000 each or something to that effect.
Colonie's about 84, 85, somewhere around there.
Oh, it's 85,000?
I think it's around, yeah.
Well, still, we have 15 county legislators from Albany, and you only have 5, and you don't have a third of the population. So
Exactly.
you go figure, there should be maybe 12 from Colonie if you're so close to the population of Albany and it's supposed to fit,
And it's interesting, after I leave here this evening, there's a public hearing tonight on the charter. Our Albany County charter is being rewritten. And there is a committee put together, and really it's the blueprint of the county and how the county operates. And one of the recommendations, and I did have to go and testify in front of them and give them my feelings on certain issues, and one was the size of the legislature. Should it be, we are the largest legislature in the state of New York.
39.
39. And there are larger counties, especially downstate. And we were, I think, when Peter Crummy was our minority leader, we had a push to downsize. And we had a tremendous amount of opposition from the other side of the aisle. Now, my folks, my conferences are saying, we would go with a downsize of the legislature, providing it's followed up and it's written that there's no pay increases, there's no vehicles, there's no increases in staff. What happened was, and people have a total misperception about when you downsize and you're going to save all this money. A legislator in downstate with the same seat that I have makes $82,000 a year. We make $22,000 a year as a legislator here. Our constituency is much, much smaller. So when they had a small constituency, they were paid less. When they redistricted and all of a sudden they ended up with 30,000 in their district, they demanded more pay. So my folks are saying, well, wait, if we want to downsize, that's great, but let's truly save the county money.
But yeah, but the thing is that, yeah, because just because you're representing more people, you're still one person. But it doesn't matter whether you paid more or not, you're still one person. What you need is staff.
Mm-hmm. We have a staff, right.
Take care, more staff, additional staff to take care of those additional people that you're going to be representing when they have constituent concerns and, and questions to, you know, because you can't do it all yourself.
Now, and there are legislators who, downstate, who have cars.
That's true.
That we don't, I wouldn't even think of having a car. But
there are special county legislature license plates.
Oh, yes, you can get those.
But those are not county-owned cars. They're just vanity plates.
No, they are vanity plates, right. Mm-hmm.
And when do you, and what do you see it downsizing to? If you want to downsize it from 39 down to 20?
I don't think that they'd go first hand out of the gate at half. I think that they would maybe take a third and reduce it some, and then maybe address it again a few years later. No. But in fact, that's what Erie County did. That's what some of the other, I think, Onondaga. Yeah. I mean, they nipped away at it.
Dutchess reduced its legislature also, the size of the legislature. But what would you personally like to see the legislature downsize to?
Well, it's hard to say.
Pick a number.
25.
25. Okay, that's something you're comfortable with.
Are they talking about, I mean, what would be the thrust? To save money? I mean, like, say if it's 22,000,
you're saving on health. You're saving on health care costs because the county legislators do get health care. You're saving on, well, salary if they don't get an increase, and you're saving on the salary. You save about $1 million if you go down to 25.
Well, and actually, the Charter Commission has been investigating that, and I want to see their final result. But I think their final, some of their input was that there'd be a savings of like maybe $400,000.
Well, that's
which
the conservative,
is still $400,000,
you know, whatever. Still,
providing that's at the salary we're at now.
Right.
And
if you increase the salary, that $400,000 can get eaten up and go away because what you're saving, you're putting back into the salary.
So the question is, do you want more of a one-on-one with your constituent? On my end of town, which is the west end of town, I represent from Route 155 west. So I go 155 in Colonie, west to the Schenectady border. I go north to the Niskayuna border, and I go south to the Guilderland border. And at one time, my district, I did have a district in Guilderland. And it's difficult because I know my town so well, and then I had to familiarize myself and get involved with another town. But my constituents, so many of them, I know them. They know me.
Right.
I don't know, and I guess over time, if you had 30,000, you'd get to know them as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what the state assemblymen and legislators do, and they have, and congressmen. But you got to have a budget for mailings at that point. You have to have a budget to communicate and to reach out to your constituents when you have a larger constituency.
Right.
And that's where the $400,000 in savings would get eaten up in a lot of the printing costs, a lot of the postage. There are ways to mitigate that in terms of social media, but it's still not. There are still some people you still have to reach by snail mail. So.
And I do believe constituents should have more say in the county and what is going on. For instance, our nursing home.
That's my next topic for you.
Yeah, it is huge. It's just huge. It's going on.
What's your view of the nursing home in terms of the LDC and the Local Development Corporation that they want to set up, and they want to bring this guy up from Nassau County to manage it? What's your view of that proposal?
I'm not in favor of an LDC.
Okay.
The majority knows that. I think that
Now our viewers know that.
I think that we were better off with Dan McCoy's proposal, which was to bring in a management company. They would manage it. We were guaranteed so many beds for the county residents.
Right.
There were a lot of good little, I don't want to say perks, but things in this agreement that would really protect us, Albany County. Way back, this goes from Ann Camella's days, when
Right.
Ann was alive.
Right.
She and I started looking into various nursing homes. We went down to Long Island and we met with 3 gentlemen there, great guys. They were in an LLC. One was he had his MBA, the other one was a CPA, and the third one was a physical therapist. The mix that you need in a nursing home to really make it successful. They knew they were very successful. They went into the Bronx and took over a really
Decrepit.
yes, nursing home that was losing millions of dollars a year. They went in and they managed it for 1 year, and then eventually in the second or third year they ended up taking it over and buying it. They turned that nursing home around. They just knew, they were like, they knew what they were doing. I mean, they were very,
Go ahead, put it back
Okay.
in. That's good.
but they did know how to make money in a nursing home, and
Private business over government, mean like that idea.
yeah. And in those nursing homes, and we went to 3 of them with them.
Yeah.
And I brought the majority down, leadership, and every one of their residents knew them, happy. Did you get your blanket last night? And did you do? I mean, they had that relationship.
So the majority rejected that just based on the fact that it was your initiative, or is it a political thing? Is it partisan?
That happens a lot.
I mean, they need to take credit for this. Is that it?
It was under County Executive Breslin, and he at that time would not move forward on it. And then Ann passed away in that terrible accident, and it lay dormant for a while, and we resurrected it about 6 or 8 months later, and it still didn't go anywhere. So it has been an issue that I have been very in tune to, and knowing that we need to take care of people in Albany County.
Have you met this guy from Nassau County?
Oh yeah.
So what's your opinion of him? Is he?
Oh no, from the gentleman who they want to bring up.
The LDC.
No.
No, you
I
haven't.
am not
Okay.
familiar.
'Cause
I mean, I'm familiar with him by his resume. But
Right, but I was wondering if you had a personal.
He had. They did have a meeting where the legislators went and got to ask questions. I was out of town.
No,
So-
they knew your schedule? No, I'm just joking. I'm just wondering if maybe, if that would give you some more additional comfort if you got a chance to actually meet him and have a one-on-one with him and an understanding.
There's a lot involved. He's affiliated with this management company that they want to bring in. His salary is just, in the beginning, he wanted $350,000 a year, which is unheard of for someone to come in and run the nursing home.
Well, if you downsize the legislature, that's where the money could go to
Well,
pay
yeah.
his salary. Just
That's
joking.
right. That's
Okay,
right,
just
Mark.
joking.
Yeah. So, but I am,
Yes.
there were a lot of negative feedback that we got from Upstate Services Group that Dan McCoy had wanted, County Executive
Right,
McCoy.
there was negative feedback. on
And
that, yeah.
Honestly, I mean, there were members who've gone to some of their nursing homes unannounced, and were very pleased with what they saw, and that's the way to do it. You go in unannounced.
Right, sure.
Yeah. So
Now, I heard from other county legislators that this Albany County Nursing Home has enough beds to meet all your concerns, in the sense that they're not being used efficiently right now. The beds are in the Albany County Nursing Home, and that someone has to be kept in quarantine or kept in one person in one room, but yet there are 2 beds. So that second bed goes unused because this patient has to be in that room alone. So therefore, they're not making the maximum use of their beds.
Well, you can only fill the amount of beds in which you have a certificate to fill. So there was a commission put in place, the Berger Commission,
Right.
A while ago. We went from 450 beds or 475 beds to 250.
Right.
And
And you have fewer than 250 residents there now.
well, our census, and we do get it almost daily.
Right.
I'm going to say we're into about 240, 242. We are
Almost at
creeping
max.
up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So
So what can you do to maximize the efficiency of the nursing home?
well, I think that would change under the right management.
That they would increase
Yeah.
the number of beds?
Most definitely.
Okay.
Mhm. And I think there's plenty of room to do other things there. You can have a dialysis unit. I mean, when we went and toured some of these other nursing homes, they had, outpatient dialysis units. They had daycare, for Alzheimer's.
So there's other ways to
people who-
use the campus that could generate income?
Yeah, yes,
Oh, I see.
most definitely.
Have you been to the Albany County Nursing Home?
Oh, many times.
And what have you
Many
seen?
times.
Because I haven't been.
The 4th floor is no longer in operation because we've downsized, but it can be.
Right.
And the 3rd floor, the 1st and 2nd floor are taken, some of the 3rd floor, and I take that back. I think the 4th floor, they might have some programs for Alzheimer's.
Okay.
But it's not all filled, no.
No, but when you go there, are patients happy? Are they smiling? Are they miserable?
The staff out there
no, the
is
patient-
wonderful.
the-
The staff is
yeah.
wonderful, so that makes for a happy patient.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so yeah, when
Okay.
the staff and the nurses are everyone that I've known who's ever had a parent there has been very happy.
So your main concern is the use of the facility then?
Well, also through the years, and it's like owning your own home. When you own a home, you have to continuously update it. You just keep
Right.
you keep it maintained,
Right.
and it's costly.
Okay.
Many years that did not happen. They did not reinvest into their own nursing home. It's in dire need of rehab.
Okay. And that's
In my opinion.
And that's what the
Yeah.
LDC could bond
Well, and remember at
into-
one time, Mark, they wanted to build a new nursing home
Yes, yes.
to the tune of $80 million. I could not spend taxpayers' money. And so, of course, I'm saying, well, why are we proposing to build a new nursing home when we don't even know if the nursing home we have now can be rehabbed?
No, we don't.
So I made a phone call actually to Kevin Betty and asked if he'd meet me out there. And I said, I would just like for you to take a look at the structure of the building. Tell me what we're looking at. My family are contractors and developers, but not in a nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
So, and later we talked a few days later, and he said, if it were my building, I wouldn't sell it. It's sound. It's good.
Okay, and
Yeah.
it can be rehabbed. Okay.
Yeah. To what tune, I don't know. I'm very cautious because look at what happened with the core facilities and other rehabs that we've had down there. It
projects, yeah.
tripled by the end. So it's always a very contentious.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with the nursing home. I know it's been contentious, and I know that
Yes.
you're going to get a handle and be that conscience of the legislature.
The gatekeeper, right?
The
of
gatekeeper going
the taxpayers'
forward.
money.
That's right.
Yes.
And Rabbi, I'll
yes.
give you a
We're
blessing.
blessing that, Christine, that we wish you the best. 20 years, and we always say till 120 years over here in Jewish,
May you live
with
to be
good
120.
health and doing good work, and keep it up and be an advocate for the people of Albany County.
Thank you so much. Thanks for
Yes,
having
it's
me.
so good to have you here.
Okay.